So here is a few notes. Um, Pretty much what this is sort of like the basic accounting things that you should be aware of, besides like the obvious stuff like the important financial statements, like the balance sheet, the statement of cash flow, the way to record these transactions, like financial journals, journal entries, as well as how like the system of credits and debits work, and um, because that's like just like an overview of basic stuff. But then this isn't gonna be necessarily like managerial accounting, where like managerial accounting is gonna go into like things in regards to like how cost of goods manufactured, how cost of goods sold is calculated. So then this is more like information that you guys should know, just like basic um, beginner level accounting before it goes into like more deep stuff. So let's just go through this real quick. Let's just talk about like general stuff when it comes to like the field of accounting. So like important thing is to like understand like what is a long-term asset, okay? And like when it comes to like these assets, like these could be fixed assets, and then like being able to calculate like depreciation, um, types of depreciation, as well as tangible assets, patents, trademarks, intangible assets. So like what are these like fixed assets? Like these are like permanent assets that are like less than longer than a year. And current asset are things that are like less than a year. These are like assets that are used in normal operations. Fixed equipment, like these are relatively permanent things. Expenses are not part of getting the asset into service. So, like, how do you calculate the cost of this asset? How much does it cost to get into service? Talking about like different types of assets, like for example, land, which like doesn't depreciate, um, and like these like things, like for example, like the book value of this, like how to calculate the book value, depreciation, like and like residual value. Like there are different types of like calculating depreciation, like straight line method, as well as the accounting equation, like how the accounting equation has a balance with a value, starting cost minus depreciation expense. You can calculate depreciation based off like units of activity. Important things like intangible assets, like what is the residual value of it? Intangible asset, like what is like depreciation cost? What is book value contra long-term assets? Residual value. That's like being able to calculate this. Like for example, here you can see depreciation, um, debit depreciation, and then you credit accumulated depreciation of whatever the item is. Okay. Um, so like you can calculate that based off like units of activity. There's double declining balance. Um, and then you can also calculate it based off of like the years. Um, so there's also like things such as disposal of fixed assets. Okay. Depreciation cost equals book value minus estimated residual value. Selling fixed assets. Important. Like how to calculate depletion. Like natural resources and how these like naturally deplete. Tangible assets and how like intangible assets monetize. Instead of depreciate is like the non-tangible version of depreciation. Patent amortization, copyright, trademark amortization, goodwill amortization, different types of turnovers, like fixed asset, turnover ratios. Okay, these are like ratios we'll look into later. That's like an important thing. And then there's like things related to like liabilities, payroll. These are really important. Like what are liabilities? Like payroll liabilities, installment notes, payables, bonds payables, short-term notes, like notes borrowed from the bank. So there's no payable. Payroll liabilities. These are like liabilities when it comes to like payroll related to payroll. And like what comes out of those things, like for example, like FICA, federal insurance contribution, like Social Security, Medicare earnings, how to compute employee net pay, FICA tax, FUTA, SUTA, federal unemployment compensation, state unemployment compensation, and how to put that in the payroll journal entry, payroll expense versus payroll tax expense. Like what's the difference between the payroll expense and payroll tax expense? Okay, so like here's a few tables to see like how you write that in a journal entry. Things related to pensions, defined retirement plans, how to create like contingent liabilities, like how do you calculate like warranty, and like how do you like create product warranty expense, product warranty payables, working capital. These are just ratios. Natures of bond payables. How to calculate things related to interest when it comes to bonds and coupon rates as well as market rate. Whether a bond that's been issued is going to be sold at a discount or at a premium. Additional paid-in capital. Amortization of these bonds. Bond redemption, if this bond is callable, as in like this company is going to redeem this bond before the bond matures. Okay, reporting bonds payable, how to report this as a liability on the balance sheet. This is all important stuff, as well as the concept of present value of money. This is an important one. Time value, money concept, right? So like this is very important. So like you can calculate like how much in the future like this is gonna cost. Let's see, partnerships and LLCs, like what the partnerships are, like different types of organization and corporate and like organizations of these corporations and limited liability companies, proprietorships, partnerships, co-ownership of partner property, limited liability companies. Allowance distribution when it comes to salary, when it comes to partner bonuses, like how partners share income, how partners liquidate. If there's like a liquidation of a partner, if there's liquidation of the partnership, if there's a withdrawal of the partner, if there is a death of a partner. Okay, so like how you would like liquidate a partnership, how you would liquidate. Okay, and things such as stocks, like preferred versus like common stock, and like as well as like par, as well as like additional paid-in capital. Like I'll make more videos on this. Like I'll talk more about it. In a minute, I'm just gonna do a review real quick. Additional paid-in capital. If the stock is like over par, then the additional paid-in capital of this par. Dividends, like how you calculate dividends. Declaring dividends, recording dividends, and the payment of dividends, stock splits, important, retained earnings, statement of stockholders' equity, statement of cash flow, reporting cash flow. I think I made a video about this. regards to the type of accounting, whether it's accrual or cash based, and then if it's an indirect method, and then like cash flow for operating activities, cash flow from investing, and cash flow from financing activities. And then things such as like financial statement analysis, common size income statements, the different techniques of analyzation of these financial statements, horizontal, vertical, common size statements, as well as the different ratios in regards to the profitability, liquidity, or solvency. So like this is pretty much the gist of some of the stuff you guys should know. I'll like go more into depth and make individual videos talking about some of this stuff so we can get like a better idea about what exactly we have to know here.